Hello everybody, and I had an interesting thought. So, a little while ago, Apex announced that Apex is going to become more than a battle royale. So, what could that possibly mean? And I kind of made a little list of what I think is going to be happening with that. I think they said this summer, I'm not quite sure exactly. Now, it's been kind of speculated what it's going to be. It could be Titanfall 3 announcement, could be a myriad of different things. But here's some of just the things I think it's going to be and what I likely think it's actually going to be. First off, they could make a campaign for Apex. I don't really see this being the case, but I do understand that it might be something that the community wants, and it might be something that could overall sell well. They could monetize that for $15 or $30, whatever. You get a story involving all the Apex characters and how they made their way into the Apex universe and into this BR that builds upon the cutscenes that we already have. I don't think this is very likely just because it is a BR. A lot of people don't care about that, and the people who do probably aren't really interested in the BR portion. I feel like the overlap for that is very small, so I don't really think that's a thing. I really don't think that's what they're going to be working on and implementing into the game just because of that reason. I guess it's a variation of BR possibly, but again, why would it be more than a BR then? I think it's going to be a completely separate mode, and what it's likely going to be is Apex Legends Arena. Title isn't something that they've made. I am just making this up. If that is the name, very cool. I predicted that it's going to be called Arena, but it's an arena shooter, so I mean that makes sense. So, what does this all mean? I think Apex is going to be introducing a 6v6 type of game mode, or game modes more specifically. I think they're going to be adding in, for the Titanfall fans here, we're going to be using these terms, attrition, CTF, and live fire. For the people who have not played Titanfall, which you should very much go do if you like Apex, attrition is team deathmatch, CTF is capture the flag, and live fire is just search and destroy. I think this is the most likely since it would capitalize and bring more players in, along with an outlet for people to go play something else who aren't as interested in BRs, but still gets people into the ecosystem and still makes the money. They can monetize the battle pass, monetize skins, so on and so forth, the same exact way that they're doing now. So obviously this aren't going to be played on the battle royale maps. This can go one of two ways. This is either going to be smaller sections cut from the battle royale map that kind of work. So buildings, other areas, like a hangar area that's on some of the maps, just in a field with some cover. It could be that, or they could be taking maps from Titanfall 1 and 2 and implementing them into Apex. Or what I think is going to happen is they're just going to make new small maps for the game. So it's its own universe, has its own references and everything, but it still fits to that playstyle of those things. Probably not a ton of them, probably only like 3 or 4 at the most, and more will be added later on with future seasons or in the middle of seasons. Because I still think the overall gameplay loop is going to rotate around the seasons and new legends and everything. So yeah, so how will this game play? So I'm guessing you're going to have to select a legend of some sort in a pre-game lobby thing like you do already in the BR. And this is going to go one of two ways. Either each team can have multiple of the same legends, so you can have 6 Pathfinders, 6 Wraiths, whatever. Or you're going to be able to pick a legend, and each team can only pick one of that legend, similar to Valorant or Overwatch, where there's only one McCree, there's only one Sombra, or there's only one Pathfinder, one Mirage, so on and so forth. That way, they can still monetize the skins for characters. People might not play as much, but still have utility and everything. And it's more of a gameplay loop around that. I think that's really likely just because I don't think they're wanting to make another Titanfall in Apex. I think they're going to want to make Apex separate, and I think they're going to make it more of a hero shooter in that kind of style. Those games do insanely well. Look at Valorant, look at Overwatch, look at all those games similar to that, which make tons of money. I think that's just what they're likely to do because they can capitalize on skins for those characters and capitalize on tons of other things. So likely I think it's going to be you pick one character, you stick with it, and you can swap maybe between the game if someone else swaps out, especially because there's so many legends in Apex Legends now. I think it won't be an issue. Now with this, I think the abilities are going to have a shorter cooldown, and ultimates are going to be completely out of the question for this mode. I think ultimates would make it way too broken overall, and I think it just wouldn't work well for it. Having Bangalore's ult on a 6v6 map that's a lot smaller in a search and destroy mode just seems a little bit too broken, so I don't think it's going to happen. Same thing with the jump pad, same thing with everything. I think all of that is going to be completely cut out, and it's just going to be the abilities. They're going to have a shorter cooldown. For example, Pathfinder's grappling hook will probably be like a 10-second cooldown or something compared to the 20 or whatever it is now. It's going to be probably cut in half for most cooldowns. Some will probably stay about the same just for balance sake, but overall, cooldowns are going to be changed with how long they are and maybe how many each legend has. Overall, I think this will play really, really well, and I think this is a really smart idea, especially for players like me and the Titanfall community who aren't as interested in Apex, but want a similar style of gameplay. The gameplay won't be nearly as fast as Apex. They might increase movement speed a slight amount, but I really don't see the purpose of them doing that, and I don't expect them to be adding double jumps or wall running. Well, this aged well. It's going to be very akin to the same Apex stuff. There might be jump pads around the map you can use, or there might be certain things on the map, like Horizon's ult, where you can launch up or ability. Is it an ult or ability? I don't know. But there might be things like that where you can still use your movement capabilities that are in Apex, but they're just going to be placed on the map instead. So how are weapons and how is health going to work? So health, I think you're going to be spawning with some sort of shield, probably a white Evo shield, and over time it builds up, you're stronger. Otherwise, you maybe just have a white shield that doesn't evolve or a blue shield, because Apex is balanced more around the shield capabilities and how much damage you can tank with it compared to no shields, since it's a battle royale. So weapons are tuned a little bit differently. Because I don't think they're going to be tuning weapons entirely separately to this mode. I think it's going to be pretty standard across both, so it's a similar feeling. And I feel like that's just too much work for them to do, and they probably don't want to. I wouldn't do it if I was making this. So either you're going to spawn with a white shield, maybe an Evo shield. So if you're doing well in the game and drop a 30 bomb, no deaths, you have a red Evo shield and you're harder to kill. I think that's fair and rewards longevity and staying alive. Otherwise, you just don't have an Evo shield, or you don't have a shield at all. I'm not quite sure which one they would go with just because of the nature of it, but who knows. Either way, I think it would be interesting. Either there's a really fast time to kill, or it's the same time to kill that you're akin to already. Weapons are kind of an interesting one, because it's kind of a toss-up if they would be implementing a new create a class system, or if it's going to be something that's similar to Apex, or what. So the couple ideas that I came up with, weapons are going to be scattered across the map, and you have to pick them up, similar to the BR, but you don't have to pick up attachments. So there's going to be randomly spawned with attachments. You pick them up close to your spawn point, and you just go nuts. And maybe there's a Kraber in the middle of the map. It might be more of a Halo type of gameplay loop where you kind of hold power positions, grab the powerful weapon, so on and so forth. If you die with it, you die with it. Someone else can grab it. I'm not quite sure exactly. I don't know if they would want to go that adventurous with it. So possibly you just spawn with a random weapon and you can pick other weapons up, like a Kraber or something. But there is the chance that they add a create a class system with separate leveling for weapons to unlock attachments. So you can add a sight, you can add a choke, you can add all these different things. I don't know if there would be hop-ups. That's a good question. Maybe those would be pickups in the game. Maybe those would be pickups on the maps. I don't really quite know, because hop-ups are kind of an interesting one because they change the weapon drastically. So maybe if you max level a weapon, you're able to get the hop-up. I feel like it's going to be kind of a hard thing to balance with that. I'm not quite sure exactly how they would do that. But like I said in the beginning, overall progression would still be tied to the Battle Royale portion of the game. So skins, legends, and everything you have would still be transferring over between the two, since it is just an extension of the game. Overall, I think this would be really cool. I don't know if this is what they're doing. Like I said, I don't keep up to date with Apex as much. I'm just thinking of what would be interesting and probably bring a lot of players to the game who aren't as interested in Battle Royales, or who are Titanfall fans who don't really like Apex. So I think this could be an interesting thing. I think it is most likely going to be something similar to this. It could be entirely different. It might just be live fire, where it's just a one life game mode. It could just be a free-for-all mode on a smaller portion of the map. I don't know exactly. I don't know how much development time this is getting. I don't know exactly how they would want to implement something like this, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm interested to hear what you guys think of this, and if you would play this. I think this would be really cool. I don't know if this would be just a free add-on. I would imagine so, since it would be still in Apex, or this might be like a $5 add-on, $15, whatever. It's kind of hard to tell, but Anyway, just thought I'd make this quick little video talking about my thoughts on the possible expansion of Apex and what I might think it is. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Peace.